Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Today's obviously not that good news in Arsenal department because Liverpool won against Man City, and quite convincingly, to be honest. The game easily could have ended like 6-7 nothing Liverpool, and not gonna lie, City look very shambolic, to say the least. And towards the end of the day, it is a bit of a yikes. But currently, it's a bit tough from Arsenal's point of view, and I must say you could say it can try and go either way. Arsenal maybe could catch them up. You have to believe in this, but at the same time, so far there have been no signs of Liverpool letting up. So today we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about some transfer plans, not to say January, but in summer, which is also very weird because Arsenal should be focusing more on this season than the next ones. But Arsenal already are being reported about next summer sales, which is a bit worrying. I'm not gonna lie, because that kind of gives a bit of an inkling to the fact that this January we might actually not do too much business or none whatsoever. So that is a bit of a scary one. But ultimately, we will have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what's gonna go and happen in this regard, and we'll have to wait and see. So, of course, if you're new around here, smash thumbs up, like the thing, subscribe. We're trying to hit 400 subscribers before the end of calendar year. We are slowly inching towards that department, and we have 1 month left, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, get live interactive in the chat. We have stuff to discuss, and everything should be quite interesting, to say the least. Big up Jimmy in the chat. Big up my guy. Big up. And I think we're gonna kick things off today with some transfer talk. I kind of wanted to start with Mikel Arteta's waffle session after a West Ham game, but we'll see. Yeah. New term freshness. Genuinely, yeah. Not sure how I feel about it though. Genuinely, I'm not sure how I feel about it. Looks decent, but I'm not sure yet. Well, I guess I have to grow into it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not sure about this bit right. What these two things right here, these two lines. See how it goes as hair grows out. But ultimately, yeah. But yeah, where was I? I wanted to, basically today we're gonna talk about transfers, we're gonna talk about sporting director, because it looks like Arsenal have made some advancements of signing an Edu replacement in next summer, and it's looking more and more intensifying in terms of talks, and it looks like it actually might be a done deal somewhat soon. It's a guy we have been mentioned before, a guy who's been talked about quite a bit in the media as well, so it will be very interesting to see, because I'm not sure what to expect from this guy. I'm genuinely not sure what to expect from this guy, because, you know what, let's start with him. I didn't want to start with him, but let's do this. Let's start with this guy. His name is, of course, Roberto Olabe. He comes from Sporting Sociedad. Yeah, Real Sociedad. At the moment, he's a Real Sociedad sporting director, and he basically handed in his notice that at the end of this season, he is, well, ending his contract. He's seeking greener pastures. At first, there were talks that potentially he might take some time off, spend it with his family and everything. But now it looks like it's picking up speed. Apparently, Real Sociedad sporting director Olabe is in advanced talks with Arsenal following Edu Gaspar's departure. Olabe has already agreed with his current side that he's set to leave this summer. That was reported a few days ago by Di Marzio. And something that caught my eye just about now, it's something similar. But also are in talks, and Spaniard has given priority to Arsenal over other European clubs after positive talks took place about the project. Now, I don't know what they talked about the project, how many phases once again, and all that stuff, but it looks like Arsenal are slowly inching towards a new sporting director, and it looks like it's gonna be the same one that Real Sociedad currently have. And to be honest, he has done some decent job at Real Sociedad. He has signed and also sold players for good profits, good ROI, so that could actually maybe change the fortunes of Arsenal, because in terms of ROI, Arsenal usually never do that well, almost ever. This was first year in almost ever we have finished the transfer market with net profit, which is also very insane given the fact that we should sign players and challenge for the title, but currently we are 9 points off. We're gonna talk about that in a second as well. But it is very interesting. He signed Isak, he signed Odegaard on loan, he signed obviously Merino. Arsenal have done quite a bit of business, to be honest, with Real Sociedad with selling them Nacho Monreal. He actually, Olabe himself, signed Mikel Arteta to Real Sociedad, if you recall. And obviously there's Odegaard signing, that's from Real Madrid more, but he took Odegaard under his wing on loan at Real Sociedad. He sold Isak to Newcastle. Zubimendi, of course, in talks and everything. Could this mean that if Olabe signs for Arsenal, do Arsenal sign Zubimendi as well next summer? Is also a big question mark under it, to be honest. Big up Nathan in the chat, big up my guy. From that Basque area, I'm expecting a football... Exactly, to be honest. Mikel Arteta is from Basque region as well. And Olabe actually has done a pretty decent job if you actually look at it. Roberto Olabe... how to tell this best deals? How to look this best deals? Oh, maybe you cannot see properly. Yeah, the best deals from Victor Olabe. Arsenal linked sporting director, and yeah, where was it? Building a culture development. He has done quite a bit. This is what he has done at Real Sociedad over age profile. I know it's a bit of a tough one to read, but ultimately, over the few years, what he has done, he has signed Ramiro, obviously, who joined from Athletic Bilbao, Mikel Merino from Newcastle at the time, Zubeldia, lots of B team players, which could bode well for Arsenal's future stars, because he has signed from B team quite a few players, and to be honest, we all know Grosbel, Zubimendi, Lenormand, who at the moment is at Atletico de Madrid, of course, Oyarzabal, who is fantastic. In all that talk, he signed Porto, Girona, Alexander Isak from Borussia Dortmund as well. Brais Mendes, Kubo Takefusa, David Silva, by the way, who he sold to Man City, Maldonado, Januzaj, remember that guy, Nacho Monreal, Guevara. There are quite a bit of players he has signed and sold, and overall, but whenever he has signed a certain player, like about 60 to 70% of the time, he has sold him for massive profits as well. To be honest, because I was looking at this Roberto Olabe. I think he should be Olabe. Here we go. Roberto Olabe, sporting director, and where is it now? On top of my head, history. I think it's stats profile. He's been Real Sociedad sporting director at Real Sociedad now for 6 years. That's actually quite extended a period of time to actually kind of decide whether he has been good or not, because Sociedad has seen quite a bit of uprise by him while he has been there, and he has actually signed some decent players in that regard, and there is hope. Let's just put it that way. He has come. There is hope that he actually could do some decent job in that regard. And all these players, where are the biggest signings? If you look at this, can you see the whole picture? You kind of can't. So he signed, for example, top arrivals, for example, 850 for Januzaj, Moreno. Top departures, Inigo Martinez, Bericice, Carlos Vela, of course. But he's been responsible for all the signings of Isaks, of Odegaards of the time, because Isak he signed for about 17 million, 20 million, something in that regard. Wait, that's the wrong guy. For about 16, 17 million in that regard, and he has actually made some decent profits. I'm really struggling to finding this. I'm very, very sorry. I don't know why, but I'm really struggling to finding this currently. Squad. Why am I struggling? Transfers. Record departures. Here it is. Here we go. Generally took me quite a bit of time, and here it is. Look what he has done. A bit detail would be nice, but ultimately, yeah. Alexander Isak, he signed for about 25 million, something in those lines. Here we go. He signed him for 25 million, sold him for 70. Lenormand as well, brought up from B team, and he sold him for very, very marginal 35 million. Merino came from Newcastle at the time, I think, or Borussia Dortmund, sold him for 32 million with 1 year left on his contract. That already is saying much, because usually the players that have 1 year left on his contract go for almost nothing, but here he went for insane chunk of change. Same goes for Odriozola, 32 million to Real Madrid. Inigo Martinez for 32, Ilaramendi 32. This is the big one. because they sold Iliad Mendy for about 70 million and signed him for 32, but that's not under Olabe though, that's a bit later on. But overall, he has done some brilliant business, and that is something that kinda is very, very promising in terms of Arsenal, in my opinion, that the fact that Arsenal are the team that usually overpays when buys, and when they have to sell, they fall flat on their ass and they do nothing. They basically pay off for a player to get off for free, or they just get basically a package change. And there is hope that with Olabe coming in, he actually could do some proper scouting, get some proper players in, and on top of that, he actually could sell players for proper money, because that has been for Arsenal one of the biggest worries and biggest issues. Because if you look at any other team pretty much in Premier League, they sell players for insane money, that basically when we look at this and say this player is 10 times worse than the player we have sold for like say 15 million, they sold that player for about 35-40 million. And some players they sell from academy who haven't kicked a ball in Premier League for about 20-30 million. What Arsenal does, we saw this in prime example this summer when we let everyone go for free. And that also was topped with the cherry on top of for that was Chidobe Martin deciding to sign for Manchester United, who is very close to signing a professional deal when he turns 17. So it is a bit of a rough one. So hopefully he can change some fortunes for Arsenal in that regard. We have an identical season to Chelsea, to be honest we do at the moment. We're going to look at the table in a second, but Arsenal are in the same boat as Chelsea. We basically are second, not third, because of, I would assume, alphabetical order in the league. That is how mad that is. Edin Nketiah's 8 games, 0 GA. 30 million well spent by Crystal Palace. I'm happy with that. Giving no knocks for there. Speaking of other signings, apparently January move for Victor Gyökeres, according to David Ornstein, cannot be ruled out, despite an expectation that he leaves Sporting at the end of the season. Obviously, the biggest talk about Gyökeres is the fact that his transfer price, allegedly, next summer drops from 85 million to about 60. And that is when he's about to move. But currently he has 70 million release clauses. But apparently, according to David Ornstein, they would be willing to accept around 70 million euros, which is about 65, something like that, million pounds. So that raised the big question. Will anyone go for him right now? And should Arsenal entertain the idea of signing Victor Gyökeres right now? Obviously, big part of Arsenal's fan base think that Victor Gyökeres is answer to all of our problems. When we played against Sporting, he didn't do much. Obviously, in second half, he did quite a bit. In terms of shots, he cooked Kivior. Once he cooked Saliba, but that also was maybe due to the fact that the Kivior has to be double covered by Saliba. It's all basically just circumstantial at the end of the day. But ultimately, would Kivior actually be answer to our problems? Because he needs, for him to work out for Gyökeres at Arsenal. Arsenal, I think, need to play a certain way, and he actually might get lost in translation a bit at Arsenal. That, for me, is the biggest worry, because at Sporting, he has a bit of a freedom. They can move and they attack quite a bit. They don't play like possession-based like Arsenal do. They don't camp on the edge of the box and everything. And the more I watch Arsenal recently, especially, yes, in the summer, it would have made sense just because we need a striker, I guess. But overall, if we look at things, how Arsenal have played this season, and how Arsenal have played for the last 3 games, and how they have played before even, Gyökeres actually is not the answer, is he? Because he actually doesn't fit the way we play. For me, the biggest thing about Gyökeres is that he needs some type of movement and everything, but many times how Arsenal play, we don't need that movement specifically. We need someone in the box who can chest the ball down, take one touch and bang it into the net. And then it now raises the question, would Isak be better? Would, for example, even Vlahovic from Juventus be better? Would that actually make more sense for Arsenal? Because remember how under Arsene Wenger, we were cussing out Giroud at times when he was missing easy chances, and we said we need also a striker who's very mobile and quick. After quite a few years, we got Aubameyang, and the proof was in the pudding, let's be real. But ultimately, right now, when we look at Arsenal, the way we play, the way we are doing things, we are playing in a similar fashion where, again, we need a lamppost up top almost. We need someone like Giroud, like Vlahovic, someone like that up top. As weird as it sounds, I think we need a proper target man who basically you cross the ball to, you give it into his feet, he takes one touch, or even with his first touch, he just bangs it into the net. One turn, maybe drops a shoulder or fights in the air for the ball and drops it down to the other players. And as much as Havertz is trying to do that all, and he's trying to move all over the place, he doesn't excel at certain aspect of the game. That for me is the biggest issue with Havertz in a way. Because he's not a great finisher, he's not great in the air, he's not great at passing. Yes, he can pass the ball on a very high level, but he doesn't excel at one of the things. And I think we need up top a player who basically excels at things he does. And since we need a number 9, a goal bagsman, we need someone who excels at scoring goals and putting ball into the net. And unfortunately, not Havertz, not Jesus, not even Ketzi at the time, none of them excel at that. That for me is the big thing now. The more I watch Arsenal play, especially this season, the more I'm starting to think about the fact that Gyökeres actually might not be the answer. He actually might not be the answer to Arsenal's problems up top. Sporting lost again. No way Sporting lost again. Who did they lose to? Where is Portugal? Wait, I'm very sorry I'm doing this live, but... Hello? Here we go. Greece, Italy... I need Portugal, right? Japan, Kosovo, Malawi, Morocco, Nicaragua... Portugal. Sporting didn't play today. Did they lose yesterday? I assume that Sporting lost yesterday, right? I'm not sure. Same. Sounds like the striker you're describing is the Victor I was referring to. Osimhen, exactly. Something in those lines. It's the other Victor. It's basically the other Victor. More than anything at the moment. It's either something like Vlahovic, something like Osimhen in a way, someone like that. I think Gyökeres, as good as he is, he actually might not be the answer for Arsenal's problems. Because, yes, he would cost a lot. There's no argument about that. But all the big gun strikers, more or less, we are going to cost a lot. And for the way we play specifically at the moment, Gyökeres just, in my opinion, doesn't cut it. How we played, how we need things to happen. We need someone like Osimhen or Vlahovic more. Or how Nathan is saying it. We need also Jesus' upgrade as a backup secondary striker in John Duran. That actually also would be a good option. We need someone who can do things. Oh my god, they lost 1-0 at home against Santa Clara. That's equivalent currently Arsenal losing to like Birmingham City or something like that. But yeah, Duran as a secondary option I think would be decent. Arsenal signing a proper striker also is very necessary. The thing is, there are some rumors that Arsenal are still interested in freaking Šeško, which is also a bit worrying currently. And here's some more news that the Arsenal's pursuit for a new striker has taken a hit, with Victor Gyökeres keen on following Ruben Amorim to Manchester United. That is according to Football.London. So a bit of pinch of salt in that regard, not taking credit away from them, but as well, this all is speculation at the moment, so we have to live with that. But yeah, Gyökeres at United would bag. That is the thing. But overall, I'm not sure. And here is the thing. According to Caught Offside, we all know who Caught Offside is, a 50-50 one, but also somewhat reliable on occasion. Arsenal have as many as 6 attackers on their list as transfer targets. Alexander Isak, Benjamin Šeško, Brian Mbeumo, Matteo Retegui, Liam Delap, and Randall Kolomuani. See, first of all, there is no Gyökeres in this list. First of all. Secondary, if we sign Kolomuani, this channel might get deleted by YouTube's TOS, first of all, because that could be the end of all. I don't need a lanky Eddie Nketiah from France up top. I just don't need it. Genuinely, I don't need another Eddie Nketiah at the club. Now, if we go through this list, Isak obviously cool. Sheshko, no. Brian Buemo, I would really consider also for the damn reason that he actually can play right wing and could be a proper backup for I was about to say Mohamed Salah, for Bukayo Saka. That is the one reason I would also entertain Brian Buemo. Matteo Retegui, the guy who missed a penalty and a tap in after the penalty where Raya made that incredible double save, who actually is having, well, breakout season, you could argue, for Atalanta in Italy, is an interesting one, but I don't think this would be the time to sign an experiment like that. Liam Delap is very interesting because that guy could be very, 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 very opportunistic for Arsenal in the way. The issues I have with Duran and Dushan is that they both left-footed. Also, that is the thing. But I also believe that is also one of the reasons why our attack is so unbalanced. Because Saka is left-footed, Odegaard is left-footed, Havertz is left-footed, and Merino technically, well, is also left-footed. So technically, 4 out of 6 players we push forward as base players we push forward. That is also including Martinelli or Trossard, and then someone else, are all left-footed. Our attack in general is very heavily left-footed. And I kind of think that we need a right-footed player up top as well. That is a very nice catch as well, by the way, in that regard. The Muani links are disappearing, and that is genuinely scary, I'm not gonna lie. Because if we see Kolo Muani at Arsenal, what is another team I can support, genuinely? That is outside of England that wouldn't bring me pain. The team I love the next team I would support after Arsenal in the whole damn Europe, by the way, as weird as it is Villarreal. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not capping, that would be Villarreal. Kind of have a soft spot for Villarreal. So it is what it is, I guess. But dude, if we sign Kolo Muani, this might turn to be a yellow submarine type of channel. Been all of them, Delap is the only one I'd consider. I would consider Delap as an out-and-out target man up top. You are a Gasperini merchant, not as much as Atalanta. Just chill, right? But I get why. I totally get why. The thing is, Delap for striker, yeah. I would also consider Brian Buemo as a backup for Saka, definitely. See everyone on that list? Exactly, that is also the case. And I think also our attack is unbalanced due to that. We need a left-footed player as a left back, left-footed player as a left center back, right-footed player as a right back, right center back, and stuff like that. I get all of that, but our attack predominantly is left-footed. And if you count only our both wingers, striker, and the number 10, 3 of 4, 75% of them are left-footed. That also cannot fly. And the biggest issue is that our number 10 doesn't have a right foot. He doesn't dare to shoot with his right foot, which means he basically is one-footed like Mesut Ozil, which also is not a great thing in general. Because as a professional footballer, I would expect you to be ambi-footed, basically, if that makes sense. But you can play good with both feet, unless you're Iron Robben. Robben had one foot, he knew how to use it, and nobody could do anything about it. But I rest my case, that's 1 in a million, basically. But yeah, Mbappe is the French Eddie Nketiah. No. Kolo Muani is French Eddie Nketiah. Mbappe currently is the French Marwan Chamakh. Because Chamakh at least could score some goals on occasion, and Mbappe scored yesterday, didn't he? On occasion. Mbappe was he was horrendous against Liverpool. The way Van Dijk just pocketed him and made him disappear like a Houdini was embarrassing. For that type of caliber of player who everyone regards as one of the best, one of the guys who should challenge Messi and Ronaldo as one of the greats as when they retire, that was hell embarrassing to say the least. I understand having an off day, but he makes Sterling look... Exactly. And to be honest, Buemo. Buemo, I thought Mbappe, but Mbappe was awful as well yesterday, by the way. But Buemo isn't bad. I don't think Buemo would be as bad as people make him out to be. Buemo is not bad in general. He's actually one of the sole reasons Brentford are where they are. if that makes sense. Because if Brentford didn't had Visa and Buemo this season and last season whilst Tony were out, they would not be where they are still. Genuinely nowhere, no chance in hell. Would be nowhere near to that. Because I would entertain the idea of Buemo as a backup for Bukayo Saka. The big thing about this is Alexander Isak is on top of the list, right? Look, in 11 games in Premier League, Isak has 4 goals and 2 assists. 4 goals, 2 assists, yeah? Now, if we look at Gabriel Magalhaes this season, right, at Arsenal, he has, well, 4 goals technically, but in Premier League he has 3 goals. So he's nearly as good as him at striker. That for me is the big thing. Brian Buemo for Brentford this season in 13 games has 8 goals, 1 assist. And Wissa for Brentford this season in 10 games has 8 goals, 1 assist as well. So I think as backups, they actually would be somewhat viable options to me personally. That's the way I at least see things. Buemo was so lazy yesterday, I don't want that. Buemo won't... You don't know that. Maybe he comes to Arsenal, it's a new challenge, new something. Maybe something would change because same thing happened with Trossard. Kind of, if that makes sense. Same happened with Trossard. Trossard also was not challenged and he wasn't performing in the recent times when he fell out with the Zerbi and everything before Arsenal signed him. So it's a bit of an interesting one. But you know, sometimes you need a different type of environment, different type of manager, different type of team surrounding you to actually go and do this. Isak, yeah, that is the big thing because Alexander Isak, wait, where is Isak? Isak's injuries, that is a big worry because his injury history is not great. Just look at this, look at this. Broken toe, out for a month, 7 games missed. 2 groin injuries last year, missed 12 games. Year even before that, had a thigh injury, missed 19 games. Year before that, missed 5 games. Then 2 years went uninjured, by the way. And then again, he gets injured every single season for about 5 to 10 games on average. Obviously in 22-23 season, he missed 19 games. This season, last season, he missed 12. He's getting more and more injured, which is not great for Arsenal if we want to actually challenge. Plus, they would want around 100 million minimum, which already screams to me, please no, don't do it. Just like Jimmy is saying. 100 million for Isak, no thanks, exactly. But Trossard hasn't threatened much. That is also not in general. That left side overall is screwed up. I don't think that is solely on Trossard threatening Martinelli. That whole left side is just... It shambles at the moment. There is no consistency from that left side. Because every single time when we have a left-sided performance, it solely depends who is playing left back, who is playing left center mid, who is playing left wing, and how big of a connection they have, and who we are playing against. It's not like consistent like from the right side. It generally varies on so many other things that it's actually wild. That left side is so consistently inconsistent, it's actually very painful at the moment. Because if we could get that in check, I think Arsenal would get a whole new dimension in the game and in the attack, which would make us much, much more dangerous going forwards. Even though Trossard scored and everything, that is the thing. I could be patient with Šeško. You think Šeško as a number 9 would actually do good at Arsenal? Do you believe so? Because... Šeško, according to rumors, didn't sign for Arsenal this summer solely because he got told by Arsenal that he's gonna be a backup for Kai Havertz. That was the sole reason he decided not to sign, allegedly, obviously. But this season he's not doing anything great at Bundesliga. 12 games, 3 goals, 2 assists. That's nothing great. And in Champions League, 5 games, 3 goals, okay. But in Bundesliga, he has started 92% of the games, played 74% of the minutes, and in Bundesliga, he has only 3+2 in 12 games. That is, for Bundesliga, that is nothing great. That is genuinely nothing great in general. Especially with Werner not being there, and the run he went on as soon as Werner got loaned to Spurs at the end last season in January, it actually kind of makes you wonder at times. Either it's his youth and experience, because when he plays you can see there is a bit of an immaturity in the way he plays. You can see that with his decision making and stuff like that, but ultimately again it's not it in a way. At the moment we just cannot take risks anymore. We need some proper established players given the position we are in and what we are doing in the league. That for me is the biggest drawback to everything when we sign players at the moment. We cannot judge players, oh, maybe in 2-3 years he will come good or anything. At the moment, we need established proper players that get job done and get us over the line. Now, not in 2-3 years. We need someone who comes in and hits the ground running straight up. Gordon is the one to go for. Forget Isak. For left wing, depends how Arteta sees it. I'm very hit and miss with Gordon. 50-50 with him as well. Šeško is flopping in Sauerkraut League. Exactly, that is the thing. He missed also one-on-ones, I think, in recent forms. So that is also not great. But the biggest thing about this, according to Caught Offside, is the fact that Gyökeres is not on the list. Which means Arsenal either are not signing him, or this is a bit of a mind games again happening with the media. That for me is the big thing. What's happening there is a bit of a question mark. However, if we move on, speaking of transfers, right? Here is the case. We already touched on it yesterday, but here it is. This summer, it's summer by the way, we are talking about summer signings. Just watch, it's 1st of December, we are talking already about summer. We haven't mentioned January once due to rumors and everything that's floating around. That already is telling me that this January will be hella quiet, or we will get 2 loans and it will be another Kallstrom with broken back and stuff like that. I kid you not. They could go very long. Gyökeres probably going to... Could be the case. Genuinely could be the case. Could be the case he goes to replace Lewandowski. 100%. This summer, Arsenal will be looking to permanently sell Lokonga and Reece Nelson. By the way, Reece Nelson today was cooking against Spurs, by the way. Shame that they didn't manage to score in the first half, but I was watching the first half like fully, then I kind of switched off the attention to a different game. But in the first half, he was cooking Spurs. Genuinely, he cooked Porro a few times and everything. It was pretty nice. Nuno Tavares' loan move is also expected to be made permanent, given how Nuno Tavares at the moment is performing at Lazio. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens very soon. He has 8 assists in 9 games. Holy moly, 8 assists in 9 games. That is actually wild. 8 assists in 9 games. And Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, and Kivior could all also exit. So, if we look at this, Lokonga 1, Nelson, that's 2, Tavares 3, Jesus, Zinchenko, Kivior, that is 6 players. In the squad currently, of all of these, we technically have 3 of those. Jesus, Zinchenko, and Kivior. If they all exit, Arsenal should be able to raise about what? 80 to 90 million, I would assume. If we actually could sell properly, I'm thinking about 40 for Jesus, 20-25 for Zinchenko, and about 20-25 for Kivior. I think that would be fair assessment. Well, that's the biggest thing. I think there is still player in Jesus, there is player in Zinchenko and Kivior, just not at this level maybe. Maybe they need a fresh ground, they need fresh tactics and everything. But ultimately, I think 80 to 90 million would be a fair assessment for these 3. And those 80 million definitely could be put to a good use. That is the first thing. Those are the players already in January Arsenal are looking to sell. To kind of indulge this more a bit about summer again, Arsenal would like to add their attacking options next summer. In my opinion, we need 2 signings up top, by the way, in forward line. While there could be a potential additional striker, the fact that there only could be, not it's a guarantee already, is worrying me, and it's only in December, right? 1st of December. The club are particularly open to a player who can compete with Bukayo Saka, which makes a lot of sense, I'm not gonna lie. There also are still interest in a left wing upgrade. So, The thing is, they want to back up for Saka for competition. They want a better left winger and only could sign a striker, which is a bit of a worry in general. It is a massive amount of worry for me. Jesus on those wages is going nowhere. 240 grand a week is a bit of a tough one to take off, I'm not gonna lie. But if he starts to learn Arabic, maybe it is possible. Let's just put it that way. Because there's no chance any other team is taking him. Although there were some random, very far-fetched rumors that Newcastle are kind of interested in Jesus. Maybe Arsenal could do a cheeky swap deals or something in that regard. But if Newcastle want him, by all means, pay the piper and get him. Genuinely, take him and I will be full for it. Genuinely, I'm not against it, just go and get him. Sell Zinchenko, Kivior, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Tavares, Trossard, Jesus, Nelson, Lokonga, Marquinhos. So you're selling 10 players, right? Tierney, who is Tavares, Nelson, Lokonga, Marquinhos. So 4 players who are not at the club now. Those 4 can go easily. Tavares is a done deal pretty much apparently. Nelson will be interesting to see what's happened with. If he plays good for Fulham, Fulham might actually take this opportunity to sign him full time. Lokonga is with option to buy. If he does well for Sevilla, I hope he does well for Sevilla, because then that means they would sign him and that would be another one off our chest. Marquinhos is a weird one. We signed him, he has done nothing. He has gone on loan, has done nothing, so who would take him? That is for me the big thing. However, Zinchenko, Kivior, Tierney, Tomiyasu, Trossard, Jesus. Trossard I'm not sure about currently, because the rumors that are flying quite heavily around that Trossard is potentially signing a new deal that's gonna get offered to him with a substantial increase in his salary is very interesting, because we cannot afford to sign another left winger if we have already 2 or 3 left wingers, which means either Martinelli has to become a striker or one of them needs to go. It's either or, there cannot be a third option where something else happens, unless someone somehow converts to right wing or something else. So that for me is the big question. If Arsenal are willing to offer Trossard an extended offer with a substantial increase in his salary, that means Martinelli has to be on the outs, doesn't he? Arsenal might ship him off to somewhere. For Martinelli, we actually could get some good money, if that comes to the point. And I've been banging this drum for the longest time and saying that in all the attackers Arsenal have currently, watching from Arteta's perspective per se, Martinelli is the most expendable one in Arteta's eyes. So it won't be a shock if Arteta decides to sell Martinelli. And if that coincides with the fact that Arsenal want to give Trossard an extension, I kind of can see it happening. I can see it happening, as weird and as wild as it sounds. But overall, if we return to this report, to the fact that Arsenal are interested in left wing, backup for Saka, but only could be a potential addition at striker, with the could, that is a big worry for me. On top of that, only in summer, not even in January. This is all we're talking about currently is summer, which is very, very annoying. And of course, a move for a new forward could see Arsenal part ways with Gabriel Jesus. Zinchenko is another who does without, with his contract expires in 2026 as yet. There is no news on potential extension. So this is the case. Arsenal are trying to host a yard sale in summer. The question is how many will come to this yard sale and how many teams will try and buy these players. But overall, some random news. Lisandro Martinez and Kobbie Mainoo will miss the trip to Arsenal on Wednesday through suspension after both received yellow cards against Everton today. And that is a bit of a nice transition, to be honest, to this. Liverpool versus Man City. I was watching the game. I assume you were watching the game as well. I kid you not, I assume you were watching the game as well. Liverpool absolutely dominated the game. The Liverpool should have won that game about 6-7-0 ultimately. There was no chance. City were shambolic. embarrassing, to be honest, the way that City have fallen off. Maybe there is some truth to the fact what Pep is saying, that the players have run themselves into the ground and they have almost nothing left to give. It cannot be the case, because they were playing somewhat decently still with Rodri being there. So only Rodri falling out has made them basically look like a mid-table team, if not worse. That was actually embarrassing from City. Based on the standards they were putting out before, and we have accustomed to seeing, it was mad. I think it was by 60th minute or something like that. There was a screen that popped up saying that City had 1 shot, 0 on target, while Liverpool had 12 shots and 5 on target. By 60th minute, I think it was. That already showed how rough that game was and how Liverpool much were dominating. No, I don't. Simple as. I think they will sell 4 or 5 at best. At best. They will loan out 1 or 2 and they will sign 3. That is my expectation from summer. Where it remains to be seen, because in summer we need a goalkeeper, we need the wingers, we need strikers, we need midfielders, we need everyone all over the place. Horrible game that was. Pep is insane with his starting selection. I will stand by this by saying that Rico Lewis doesn't fit in the midfield whatsoever. He got done over every single time he touched the ball. It was actually kind of wild. Liverpool plays such crap football, long ball to Salah and Hope. But it works. You can't knock them while it works. That's the thing. It works like a charm. Salah is on top form and nobody can knock that. It was the same as when Manchester United signed Robin van Persie from us. It basically was almost their tactic. Hit the ball long to Van Persie and pray for the best. And it worked. They won the league that way. So currently, even though Liverpool are playing this way, it's working. When it doesn't work, then the slot will have to try and find some answers. But currently, as long as it's working, might as well chill with this. Genuinely, might as well relax with this. But it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. Pep played with Liverpool. Yeah, but he cannot afford to do it because Kyle Walker is rubbish. For the last 3 seasons almost, he's useless pretty much. Ruben Dias just came back from injury. John Stones is decent when he's playing, when he's not injured. Guardiola without Ruben Dias looks like a lost puppy. He played a Kanji and Nake today. Rico Lewis, I'm not sure why is he even on the pitch as an inverted in the midfield. He just doesn't work as a 6, or as an inverted midfielder. He just doesn't work whatsoever. Gundogan, that 1 year in Barcelona has made him play football 5 times worse. Nunez somehow was one of the he was awful, but he was one of the best players they have. Phil Foden is like Phil Frozen, the curse of the what's its face, PFA and everything. He's just rubbish. Haaland basically has been space jammed and looks like Eddie Nketiah since he said stay humble, eh? Haaland said stay humble, eh? And since then they have lost 5, drawn 1. Since that game against Arsenal, they have been utterly rubbish. Rodri got injured and everything. Like, their team, basically, if you look at their team, it's all washed. If it wasn't for Ortega in goal, basically, it easily could have been about 6-7-0. On top of that, City's team currently, it's either they have basically very old players and very young players. There is no in-between in those players, and that's what's hurting them currently. That's what's very, very annoying. For them, at least. They said Diaz better than Saliba. Ake was... to be honest, when Ake was playing at Bournemouth, I was hoping he signs for Arsenal at the time. I genuinely was hoping that Ake signs for Arsenal at the time when he was at Bournemouth. Unfortunately, he signed for City. So, rest is history, I guess. But it is what it is at the end of the day. But yeah, City just looked shambolic, pathetic, and embarrassing. Liverpool ran pretty much circles all over them. All the goddamn time. Only player that actually looked good, ironically enough, was Jeremy Doku. He came on as a sub, he spun Trent a few times and everything. He tried to create something, but again, he does everything to get in decent positions. He gets past defenders. But the final pass, final touch for Doku is genuinely useless. He does everything to get in a spot, but once he gets to the spot, he just disappears. Like, he loses all ability to play football. It's actually also kinda nuts. Kinda nuts. But why isn't Pep playing his all-conquering 3-2-4? It's Pep. It's Pep. Good for you! Arsenal, you are in the Premier League or Champions. You can't. Good for you. Whatever helps you sleep at night. Stats, that's just nuts. But yeah, this game was rough to watch. And if we now look at this... if we look at Premier League table, it's nothing nice to look at. I'm not gonna lie. It's nothing nice to look at currently. Because Arsenal obviously are second. I generally believe Arsenal are second in the league only due to alphabetical order in the table. Otherwise, Chelsea would be second. Liverpool will fall off. Szoboszlai is not good enough in that midfield. And that's the thing. McAllister and everything, they will be good. Gravenberch and all them. Liverpool's biggest issue is that they don't have depth. And if the injuries hit, specifically in the midfield, it will be hell on earth from them. Currently, for them, until the end of the year, Konate is out. That is one big thing, one big player out. The thought process is, Kanash and everyone who can step in, they will do the thing, and they will do good. Because one player falling out is not be-all, end-all. But as soon as, for example, if Salah gets injured, for example, in the midfield, like Gravenberch and someone else gets injured, they will struggle. Their midfield is like a war, is like Swiss cheese, lots of holes as soon as they get injuries there. They had maybe one year period, year and a half, to replace Fabinho, to find proper replacements when they won the league. They should have built on this side when they won the league, when they ran away and they won the league. But they didn't. They basically kept stagnant. They remained where they are without improvements, without signing new players, like proper ones for the long term. And now there is the issue now. They fell off for a few seasons, although they were fighting for titles and everything, but they fell off. And now they are in this position where they're lacking depth. They need some sort of a rebuild. They have some sort of a rebuild happening, but long term, they are now lacking the depth. And if they get injuries in some key areas, similarly like Arsenal as well, they will fall off. And Arsenal as well, if we get more injuries in some key areas, we will fall off as well. That is also a big thing. However, Liverpool currently in 13 games have won 11, drawn 1 and lost 1. Which already is kind of scary. Arsenal are 9 points behind Liverpool, which is at the moment the big issue. Man City are 5th, by the way. That is also insanely nuts. But this is a big issue currently. Big issue. For Arsenal to have any chance to also salvage the season, we need to go on a winning streak. We cannot afford to lose any game until this January transfer window, where we could potentially get a chance to sign reinforcements for the team. In certain areas even. And if we don't do that, we might as well be done. Liverpool had some tough games, and I still think they do have some tough games coming up, if I'm not mistaken. Premier League schedule, what are we saying? Premier League schedule for Wednesday. This is for the Wednesday games. On Wednesday, Arsenal play Man United, which should be a must-win game. Man City play against Forest. The way Man City currently are playing wouldn't put past them that it will be a shock result, obviously, but it is what it is. Newcastle host Liverpool, which will be very, very interesting because Newcastle are not in the best of forms currently. They're struggling as well, and quite a bit, to be honest. Because, if I'm not mistaken, they just lost to why am I opening this place again? Newcastle just drew against Crystal Palace, and before that they lost to West Ham. So they are a bit of a free fall as well going down this. So this will be very, very interesting to see how that develops long term. Big up Charles, big up my guy. How many goals do you see versus United? 4. I'm saying 4. I think 4. I need to see us bop United then go again on the weekend. No, exactly, that is the thing. For Arsenal, let's see, we have to play United at home. Then we have Fulham away, which won't be easy, but we must win this game. Fulham last year was on the main catalyst why we didn't win the league. Then we play home against Sean Dyche. Then we have game against Crystal Palace away, which should be also a win. And we have Ipswich at home in this calendar year. Oh, and oh yeah, in this calendar year that will be it. So 5 games left. If we win all 5, Arsenal should be in a good place. We need to win all these 5 games to have any chance to even close the gap. Because currently, for Arsenal to even have a chance to challenge, everything rides on not only us winning the games, but also on Liverpool dropping points. People say it's inevitable that they will drop points. That is true, because no team is going to go unbeaten and the Liverpool won't maintain this form. However, everything depends also on the fact that when does Arsenal drop points and when does Liverpool drop points. Because if we drop points on the same game week, it means nothing. And it also, the question is how far Liverpool are ahead when they start dropping points. Because if they are dropping points here or there on a random game, and Arsenal don't win those games when they are dropping points, it means nothing. And if the gap is already too big for Arsenal to close it again at some point, it also means nothing. It all now rides on Liverpool more than anyone else. In a way, if Liverpool maintain this, it's Liverpool's league to lose at the moment. Because, yes, Liverpool have a tougher schedule than Arsenal till the end of this calendar year. Same goes for City. So technically, Arsenal should be able to win all these games and close the gap. The question is, can Liverpool maintain this type of form and run until at least the end of this calendar year and maybe make themselves stronger in January as well? So there's lots of variables riding on this. I think we have the London factor in our favor. We don't leave London. Yeah, we play in London pretty much every single game for the next about 6-7 games, if not even more. We stay in London. That is great in that regard. We don't have to travel north or south and everything. Isn't that the fact that also only our away games, we play in London most of the games, and the furthest travel we have to make is to play in Girona in the recent times as well, and something like that. 9 points off the pace. Is it doable? It's a 4-game swing. That is the big issue with this. Doable, it is doable. Will it happen? I have no idea currently. Because 9 points is a 4-game swing where one team loses 4, another team wins 3 and draws 1 at least. So it's a big ask in general. The question is, can it happen? Yes, it can. Will it happen? It's a whole different story. Because Liverpool can drop points. It's inevitable. But the thing is, if they drop points, for example, next game against Newcastle, right? They go away to St. James Park, they draw 1-1, for example, right? But if Arsenal draw 2-2 against United the next game on Wednesday, it means nothing. These drop points from Liverpool only mean something if Arsenal pick up points. That's the big thing. It all rides on Arsenal picking points and Liverpool dropping points. And if they all coincide, it's great. But if both teams drop points, it's the end of days pretty much. We only leave London once in the next 13 games. We stay in London. It's all in our favor. Well, sounds weird, but it's in our favor in that regard. In the next 13 games, our furthest trip away is Girona in Champions League. Champions League games, Monaco, what else is there? Dinamo Zagreb at home. Brentford is in London. Spurs in London. Palace in London. Fulham in London. Man United come to us. So it's all in our favor in that regard. Will we take advantage of it? God knows. And of course, it doesn't factor in the injuries and stuff like that. Bad first quarter, close it to 6 in second. That's the thing. For me, for Arsenal to be in this very opportunistic good position, we need to close the gap before January window to like 5 points. So we can actually maybe go in the window, sign maybe some players on loan, or actually, for some random reason, get a brain cell, Kroenkes, Arteta, and all them idiots up there, and spend money and sign some proper players. And if we do that, if we improve the team for the second part of the season, it could be very interesting and very tough running for either or both teams. it could get nasty at some point. Because let's remember, game week 36, we are going to Anfield. Game week 36 this season, we are going to Anfield. Will the title be decided by then? Who knows? But if the gap is decreased to 2 points or 1 point to Liverpool, one of the teams is 1-2 points ahead of. For example, Arsenal have 78 points, Liverpool have 79 or something weird like that, right? And we have to go there. Then it will be anything that counts. That will be game of the season pretty much. Should be a 3-point gap, but can only blame ourselves. Exactly. Only can blame ourselves. Because, let's be real, game against Brighton. Yes, we were down to 10 men. But those 10 men didn't stop Havertz scoring one-on-one. Didn't stop Bukayo Saka not getting to the ball when Havertz crossed it. At the same time, Raya made a world-class save on Kayakis or whatever, Yakaki, whatever his name was on the shot. It didn't stop us from doing that. We are our own worst enemy. Because this is Arsenal's DNA. All these big teams, your United, Cities, Liverpools, and all this, it's not a problem for Arsenal. We are always up for those games. The issues are what they are, your Fulham, Southamptons, West Hams, Brightons, and teams like that, where we drop the points. If we cannot kind of get past that mental block, there's no chance in hell we will ever do anything, pretty much. Beating Monaco is a must. I think we can secure top 8, I think, if we even lose one game. Can we? We have Dinamo Zagreb, we have Monaco, we have away game at Girona. Am I missing anything? Am I missing one more game or that's it in Champions League? Or am I missing something here? Or am I missing something here? So, next game, December 11th, we play Monaco at home. Then we have Dinamo Zagreb at home. And then we play Girona away. So, we have 3 games left in Champions League. So, basically, we need to... Technically, we should win all of those 3 games. Monaco, Dinamo Zagreb, and Girona. And if we win all those 3 games, we will finish in top 8. And we should be good. If we lose even one of those games, or even draw one of those games, it will be by missing or getting in by this much, basically. London until 22nd on January, except Brighton. Exactly. We are spending lots of time in London. What do we have now? United at home in 3 days. Then we have Fulham away, which should be a win. We need some revenge for last year. Everton comes to us. We go to Crystal Palace. In between these 2 games, by the way, in between Everton and Crystal Palace away, we have FA Cup, a Carabao Cup game against Crystal Palace at home. Don't forget that. Then we have, who do we have here? Ipswich at home. Then we have Brentford away, which again, 1st of January, Brentford away. Stay in London. Then we have Brighton when we travel away. And that is the only away game. Because then we have North London Derby, we play at home. We have Villa, we play at home. Wolves away, that is the first trouble. Besides that, if we look at it that way. Beating Monaco will make it easier to focus on the league and won the League Cup. That is the thing. We need... If we win Carabao Cup, I would be very confident that we're gonna win something else this season. If we basically crash and burn out of Carabao Cup, I don't believe we will win anything. Because for us, we need to win this Carabao Cup to get that extra motivation, that extra energy and extra juice in the team that we can do this. Because this team overall, if you think about it, has not won anything. I don't count Charity Shields. FA Cup was won, but we only have 1 player from those times, pretty much, in Kieran Tierney. Rest of them didn't play, were injured or whatever. So ultimately, none of these players have won anything in our team as a unit. So winning this Carabao Cup, in my opinion, would set us up pretty nicely for winning something else this season. That would give that extra motivation, that extra emotional lift, And I think we will win something else besides that this season if we win Carabao Cup. If we crash if we crash out again from Carabao Cup, right? I don't think we're gonna win anything this season. 4 dropped versus City, Liverpool, Brighton, Bournemouth. Exactly, margins. Because last year we lost the league by 2 points. People are cussing for the fact that we lost against Villa in that run when we went 14 or 15 1-1. We didn't lose the league then. We lost the league in the first part of the season. When we drew to Fulham at home, who had 10 men. When we went 1-7 in December. We lost the league 10, losing to West Ham's, Fulham's, 2 years ago to your Southamptons and Evertons and teams like that. Again, these smaller mid-table teams basically did us over. And this year, again, Bournemouth 2-0, toothless performance. City draw where if we were brave enough, we would have won that game 3-1 most likely. Liverpool 2-2. If we played the second half like we did the first half, it would be a complete different story. But we played one great half, one basically park the bus half, and it was embarrassing. Brighton, we had 10 men, but we had our chances to win. 1-on-1 with goalkeeper, 2 times where one time with Havertz where Bruggen made the great save. Havertz balled that. Then Havertz crosses the ball to Saka, and Saka doesn't stretch enough to get the ball. We had chances to win those games. We just didn't do it, ultimately, at the end of the day. We lacked the clinical effect in front of the goal. We lacked the bagsman in front of the goal to get us over the line. And we were paying the price. We are now paying the price for that. And let's be real. The longer it will stay like this, the rougher it will be for Arsenal. I hope Carabao final is versus Liverpool so we can derail them a little, because even Liverpool fans said we are clear of them after Emirates game. We'll see. That would be a very interesting final. Liverpool versus Arsenal in Carabao Cup final. That would be actually quite nice. Not playing Vangueria and not getting Odegaard. That is the thing. That's what we are paying the price for. Because we sold Emil Smith-Rowe. I get it. He wanted game time. He goes to Fulham. Then we loan out Fabio Vieira, which for a person who has actually some brain cells would lead to believe that we're gonna sign a number 10 as a backup. Or it would mean that Arteta thinks that Vangueria actually is good enough to play as a backup for Odegaard. Because last year we skipped through the whole season without injuries to Odegaard, Saka, Havertz, who else was there? Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, all of the main guys. This season we are dropping like flies. We kind of are, universe is balancing each other out for the injuries, right? Odegaard gets injured, goes out for a few months. Obvious choice, put in Ethan Vangueria, see what happens. Because 1-2 games, why not? Game at home against Leicester, at home against Southampton, even against Bournemouth. You would think that he would start him there, but no, he wants to start Merino as a number 10, Trossard as a number 10, Havertz up top, and he drifts into that number 10 role, which means when we actually go into the opponent's box, we don't have a striker up front when we cross the ball across the goal line to tap it in again. And that again, Vangueria plays odd minutes here or there, 10-15 minutes as a cameo. He starts in the Carabao Cup games against Preston, against Bolton. And ultimately, where has that led us? Because whenever Vangueria comes on, he does more than most of our wingers when Sterling plays, when Jesus starts and everything. He does in his 15-20 minutes more than most of our players at times who play the whole game. And if that doesn't show that he is ready, then what's the point in even having him? Because at some point he as well might look at all this mess basically and do what Omari Hutchinson did, what Chidobe Martin did, what Emil Smith-Rowe just did, what Florian Balogun did. You're not gonna guarantee me game time? Handing in transfer requests, goodbye. Second quarter we need to close it. Exactly. By January transfer window, we need to have closing the gap to 5 points. In my opinion, we need to trim off nearly half of these points, from 9 to 5. That is my opinion. 6 I can live with, but that is a bit more than I would wish for in general. But that's a 2-game swing, that is not too bad in general. Arteta needs to get subs right during this crazy run before he's... Exactly. Because again, it doesn't matter how the game is going, he makes the same subs. And he makes them at the same time. 60th minute, 65th minute, 1 sub, 70th, 2 subs, and then again. And it's usually the same subs, player per player subs with no imagination. Very reactive, nothing proactive as well. Only reason why he made subs at halftime or a bit earlier was because due to injuries. Gabriel came off for... Kivior came on for Gabriel because of concussion protocols. Calafiori came off for Zinchenko because of injury worries, because of his groin injury potentially. It's a big worry. Injuries also are slowly piling up because I have no idea whether Gabriel is going to play on Wednesday, what's going to happen with Calafiori, how the team is going to look. That is also a big issue. And not playing Ben White through injury. Dude, he was injured for about half a season this year, and he persisted in playing him. Same goes for Odegaard. Odegaard also was injured, and he played against Chelsea full 90, by the way. He goes to Norway game, to Norway's national team camp. Norway doctors look at him and said, you're stupid or what? You're going back to Arsenal. You need some recovery. And then Odegaard comes out, oh, I have to listen to my body, see when it's ready to play. So what did you hear from your body when you played full 90 against Chelsea? Like this, it's not just on players, it's on Mikel Arteta as well. And what is medical staff doing, by the way, in that regard? Rice playing with broken toe and injections as well. Like, come on. What do you think? What do you think the new technical director will do? Nothing. We are not getting... Oh, you mean Eto or what? Because new sporting director we are getting next summer. Which means, and according to reports, Eto, the assistant of Edu is in his place. Apparently Edu already had prepared plans for January. So let's see what he does. Because currently, we need a lot to be done. In perfect scenario, we sign a striker now, and we sign maybe a winger, maybe, or maybe a midfielder on loan to cover a few of the holes we have currently. And next summer, we add to that. We sell some deadwood and we add to that. Because if we basically prolong all this and we look now in summer transfer window, we need to sell about 7-8 players. Some of the players will be out of contracts like Partey and Jorginho, and we need to sign about 7 or 8 players. Do I have belief in Arsenal that they're gonna sell 7 or 8 players and bring in at least, well, not even 7 or 8, or bring in 10 to basically player per player plus on top of that to increase the depth of the team? No, I don't. Because Arsenal don't do that ever. And that would be actually very stupid from any business point of view to sack more than half of the team and sign in more than half of the team. We are not Chelsea. So it's a very, very big mess in that regard we are in currently. And how they're going to rectify that, improve and everything, it's still a big question. I would say we need 2. In general, we need 2. But currently, given the fact that already most of the reports that are being spoken about in terms of Arsenal transfers are regarding regarding summer, it's not filling me with hope. Let's just put it that way. Bringing Wharton plus attackers now. Do you think Arsenal can pull it off in January? Do you think Arsenal will actually spend some money in January? Because we haven't spent big money in January since Aubameyang, and that was mostly because fanbase got mad because Alexis Sanchez went to United. I think something major has to happen at Arsenal for us to spend money in January. Big money in January. Something major has to happen at Arsenal. Genuinely. We need at least one other talent. We need at least 2 players. I would say 2 actually for Champions League run. And one of them must be in the attack. Specifically in the attack. Because we have had the same attack without changes for 2 years now, pretty much. And it's not working. If you take out Havertz, we have had the same attack for 3.5 years now. There is no new fresh blood, no new ideas, no new other energy as Mikel Arteta would say. There is no changes. We have the same attack all the time. We have no changes whatsoever. No new ideas, no nothing. We need some improvements and changes in that regard, 100%. That is also a big thing that I'm looking at. Arteta is not an idiot. He knows we won't win with just... That is the thing. I think he knows that. Does he have the balls to change that, though? Because he had chances to change that in summer. He didn't do it. He had a chance to sell Jesus in summer. He didn't do it. He had a chance to sell Trossard in summer. He didn't do it. We signed Sterling. Whether it's Arteta or Edu's signing is also a big question. Because it's very split. Either it's been Edu's signing, because Edu panicked because he couldn't get the player he wanted, so we took Sterling on loan. Or it was Arteta's signing, where Arteta said, I have worked with him, I know what he's all about, and he will be good for us. That is also a big thing. So, there is despite the fact that summer transfer window closed, 3 months ago, let's be real, there are still more questions than answers about that window in general. And that is not a great thing, let's just put it that way. Hard to find top tier quality. Would you take Pogba in winter, maybe motivated by World Cup? I would take Pogba for midfield. I'm not gonna lie, on a free. I would. That's the thing. Quite a bit depends on salary, right? If he agrees, for example, on about 70 to 100 grand a week in that region, and if he actually, for a half a year basically till summer, and if he performs, that's great, improves Arsenal, he gets in proper form because he hasn't played for ages pretty much, and he actually contributes properly to the team, I would extend that contract. Then we would have some discussions for a proper contract. I would take that deal, definitely, because Pogba has something different for midfield to offer. The issue with this is, though, Mikel Arteta won't like Pogba because Pogba has an ego, he has an attitude, and he's a bit of a free spirit when it comes to certain aspects. And our Mikel Arteta hates all of those three things. So that is also a big thing. When you sign these players, you kind of need to take into account that Mikel Arteta is somewhat strict and very, very his way or the highway type of situation happening. So that for me is a big worry, because this team needs egos. This team needs personalities that actually could maybe stand up for something that they don't like, and maybe throw a challenge at Mikel Arteta to change certain aspects of the game, of the tactics, and of the team, to basically stand up to him. Because nobody wants people being surrounded by the people who always agree with him. Because if you are the quote-unquote smartest man in the room, you won't go anywhere. You need people that surround you, that challenge you, that ask you questions that you don't have answers for, that makes you actually look for things that you don't know about, to discover yourself, discover different areas. But currently it kind of feels like that Mikel Arteta is only surrounded by people that only agree with him, that nobody throws a challenge at him in that regard. Everyone was saying Jesus back after preseason. Well, Jesus was in a decent form, somewhat decent form in preseason, but he got injured again, so that went well instantly. So that went out of the window pretty much straight up without any questions asked. So that was fantastic, I guess. But I guess it is what it is. But yeah, I think we have covered everything for today. I think we have covered everything. We have talked about transfers, summer, obviously gonna talk about United game on Tuesday. Need to prepare already for that. I wanted to go through Mikel Arteta waffle settings, but I decided not to, because there's nothing much to talk about in that regard. Hard to see us getting Wirtz, but someone like Nico Paz would work. We are not getting Wirtz. Apparently Wirtz is Wirtz is preferring move to Bayern Munich. Although there are some links for Man City as well, so that will be very interesting. Watson is a good one too, isn't it? Yeah, exactly. Watson would be very interesting, although I think Palace won about 60 million for him, so that would be very rough to see Arsenal actually paying that. I kind of would love to see that, Arsenal signing him, but I guess it is what it is. It remains to be seen. What else happened today? Patrick Vieira won his first game as the Genoa coach. 2-0 away game against Udinese. That was fun. Lol. What else? Nothing special. Genuinely, nothing special happening in world of football for today. Maybe tomorrow it will be something a bit different. Tomorrow is Monday, so definitely some news will start to come out and some more discussions will be there led to be had about certain aspects of the game, of course. But yeah, I think on that note, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have been freaking fantastic. Big up Nathan, big up Charles, big up Jimmy. Yes, I do. I watch Italian League. Yes, I do. 100%. Nathan, who else was there? Jimmy. Big up everyone. Of course, if you're new on here, smash thumbs up, like the thing, subscribe. Aiming for 400 subscribers before the end of this calendar year. We are 30 days away. But yeah, for today, that will be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. You have been freaking fantastic. Enjoy the last holiday, because tomorrow again, new week starts. December is here. Holiday season is nearly upon us. So take care, stay safe, have a great evening, have a great new work week. And well, let's slowly prepare for game against United for Arsenal.